Hello YouTube, and welcome back to another wonderful episode of Timberborn, where I didn't exactly keep my promise. I got a little ahead of myself. I let them do some stuff in the background, so we're not exactly full on everything as anticipated. And I kind of started a small little side project, and I didn't want to finish this side project without showing you guys what it is that I was doing. So I thought, hey, let's pop in and show you guys what I've been working on. I think it looks pretty neat. We're capping the source. We're capping it off, and it's going to be great. So how this is going to work is everything is going to be open. We're going to close below or close above contamination of 1.0. And on the other side, we're going to close above contamination, or close below contamination, and this side is close above. Right? So good water goes this way, bad water goes this way. This is all going to be capped off with dirt, so there won't be any spillage happening. And this, of course, is going to go all the way up to the top, and that's going to be great. And then in here, what I'm doing is I'm blasting this out. I know I just put all this dirt in. That's not the greatest use of dirt, but hey, it's fine. We're going to blast this out, and then we're going to put some 1x2 overhangs over this, and we're going to cover this in dirt. So this entire side will be capped off so that when we eventually do get to this end and we want the water to go higher than this side, then that can actually occur. At least that's the going in argument. So some other stuff that I've got going on here, I cleaned up some more of this stuff over here. I cut out some pathways. I got beavers in here to clean up some of the trees that may or may not be in the way. I don't know. I did get in here and we got this capped off. That didn't take too long, and they were able to knock that out pretty quickly. And overall, the limfac is dirt, but we can solve that relatively easily by putting in another couple of dirt excavators. So that should keep up with the demand theoretically. We are doing a lot better on our lumber sides. We're at 5.1K. Planks were at 3.1, and metal blocks were at 1.1K. Now, we are going to eat through our metal blocks like no one's business because we're about to do a massive build down here. But before we can actually get that massive build going, we need to get the groundwork in and settled before we can start tackling all of that. And that, of course, also entails getting this cleaned up and getting this all cleaned up and making our nice line through here. So let's go ahead and tackle that, shall we? Now, I don't want to blast this out necessarily yet. I do want to keep this at that 2 height as well. So we'll leave that in, and we can go ahead and start placing our dirt. Now, I believe, yeah, we don't, I think I wanted to cap this off too. So that is totally fine how that is right there. So we'll continue to let that be that height. That's going to come down here. So we need to fill this in to that height. So that means coming in here, lining ourselves up with this and doing that like such as and so and whatnot and stuff. So I'm going to fill this in like this. There's probably a much nicer or easier way to accomplish this than how I am currently running it, but that is fine. Now that is 5 wide, and this is 1, 2, this is 7 wide. So that means here-ish. Oh, am I gonna have to, I've realized my mistake that I have created for myself. We are gonna have to tear all of this out in order to get this going how I plan to have it going. Or cap this entire system off as well, which I'm not opposed to doing. That's going to require a lot of material, though. I can't believe I didn't think about that. This is fine. This is fine. Yep. I should have thought about that. Yeah, I can't believe I didn't think about that. Yeah, that's entirely on me. I should have thought about all of that problem that I just created for myself. That's okay. We'll be able to take advantage of this power for a prolonged period of time anyway, because this entire system is going to take a hot minute to build, and we can get all of this going for the bad tide system, and then I wanted to feed this into there as well, so that's going to be a significant source of juice running through it without too much of an issue. So we'll keep working like that under those assumptions, and we also need to get in here and slowly fill this in as well, so that'll be something that we can do. I believe we could probably change one of these over to dirt and have that set to obtain, and then we can get some of our guys in here to cap this off. I do want to get them in here to finish up filling the rest of this out. I kind of don't think it's necessary, honestly. I feel like that's a wasted effort because I'd have to tear all this out and tear all this out. And so I think that's fine. We'll accept the loss of the few extra pieces there, and that will be all right. So let's go ahead and start working on getting some of this in down here. And I want that to be like this. And I want it to taper down to 2 or even 1 high. So we'll do something like this, and then we'll go ahead and toss in, I believe it's only 5 wide, so that shouldn't be that much in the way of materials. And then that should work like that. We can go ahead and toss in all of our dirt stuffs. I don't think we actually need that one. Yeah, we don't need that one. Okay, and then dirt on top of here. Probably could make this higher. It probably would be a smarter way to tackle this, but I'm okay with how this will work. Then we can go ahead and fill all of that in right there. And the game, of course, lagged out, so those placements didn't actually go in. And of course, it went through onto the other side, and bada bing, bada boom. Sweet. That goes there, that goes there, this goes here when we fill all of that in, and I'll probably tear out a little bit of this just to make it look a little less jagged. I don't know. Do we have moves like Jagger? Is that how this works? Am I allowed to say that? I don't think so. Anyway, I digress. Maybe that height. Let me do that. And then like that. Is that a little less? Maybe we blast a little bit of this out. I don't know. We'll let them work on that. That'll be something nice for them to do. These guys are going to be working on all that for a minute. They should be able to reach all this theoretically. We will give them a path down here though, and they have plenty of dirt to work with for now. So that will be good. Now, what we can do is we can get over here and start planning out how this is going to work as well. And I want to do something along these lines. Now, the question is, can I do this? Can I do this? No, it does have to be 1 higher. So we're going to have to place something like that. Then I want something like this. Then we want to further cover this like that. We'll do the same here and there. And then I kind of want to put irrigation barriers on this just so it doesn't leak out and we can have a little bit of a cleaner work area. Maybe we do that. Is that obnoxious? Can I put, actually, I wonder, can I put irrigation barriers underneath these guys? I can. Okay, that answers that question. Sweet. So let's do that. I want to do that. I want to have a nice clean, I want to keep this as clean as possible for our guys. So let's see here. I can't really blast that down any. Okay, so that was in here. That's irrigation barrier. That's not actually, this side's not gonna, having that irrigation barrier there is not gonna be any help for anybody. can't put irrigation barriers on platforms. That makes sense. Yeah, of course that would make sense. Why am I questioning that? So we're going to put some dirt in there. Then we're going to put irrigation barriers on top of that. Fill that in. Have somebody come in and blast this down. We'll put an irrigation barrier right there. And then we can put dirt in around the outer edge. Like so. And then we toss in our bad Johnnies here. Yeah, I think that'll do for now. That'll give them something to work with for a little bit. You guys are all bored, so you are all fired. We'll get them out of here and let them go do something else with their hands. Go ahead and just... Are these full on logs? They all have some logs, so we'll let the haulers come take care of that as they see fit. I have 7 beavers with nothing to do with their hands, and I don't know where to put them. Sure. Let these guys work to their heart's content, and then I still have 3, so let's go ahead and swap out those guys right there. That will be fine. That will do. Now, I still have 30-something bio beavers running around with nothing to do with their hands either, but that is okay. I will allow that for now. We still have... So, I left you guys, and then I got a 28-day drought, and we're still 17 days left in this drought, and, well, we're out of water. Not entirely out of water, obviously. This is a massive cavity or massive reservoir of water back here. There's still a massive reservoir of water down here, so we have access to it. We have water available to us, but none of it is, well... This is basically unusable once it reaches a certain depth. And if we can pull it, our beavers have water to pull. That's all that matters, is they have the ability to get the water that they need in order to maintain their livelihoods. Now, what happens beyond that, there's not much I can do about that. How do I solve this? So I still want to have access to the power. I still want to... I still would like to have access to the bad water so we can continue to pump that, because I do want to soon, like probably right now, unlock this grease factory and put this in somewhere so we can start producing grease, which takes canola oil, which we have not much of. I do need to toss in another storage tank for canola oil somewhere. And I also need to up our production of our extract to meet the demand for our grease, which is going to eat. It's going to take a hot minute to actually accomplish. Now, let's see here. They should be able to reach all this, I believe. So they can tackle that. This is all the priority since I did place this all first. We can go ahead and blast this out, and then we can prep this next portion of the plan, which is tossing these in right here. Then I want to toss dirt in on top of that. And that should, in theory, cap all of that off. And I kind of want to rip this out. I kind of want to fill in this entire area back here with dirt. I don't know why you went the long way around, but you did. So I'm not gonna comment on that. You know, you do you, boo. Rip all that out, and now we can just go ahead and fill the rest of this in like this. Do the same back here. Go ahead and just fill this in like that. That goes there. That's one too high. That's okay. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. This is looking really nice. I love to see it. Brilliant. We've capped off Helix Mountain, guys. We have officially capped it off. It is beautiful, and soon we will fill in the Helix and we'll make the greatest cake ever. All right. And we can officially say these beavers are caked up.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
No, nothing? Okay. Anyway, moving on. Let's see here. They are going in and slowly placing some of this dirt in here for us, so that is good to see. They haven't touched any of this because, well, they can't reach any of that. We can give this a priority because I kind of want to get this... done so that when we need to do the things, we can do the things, right? I believe that's how... Actually, is that gonna... That's not gonna help anything, is it? No, that's not gonna help anything. Hold up. Yeah, I'm realizing that I goobered. I goofy goobered. So let's rip this out. Because the irrigation barriers don't do a darn thing if there's just... So... Yeah, let's rip all those out. If they're covered in poo water, right? Poo water irrigation barriers are kind of pointless. It's kind of a moot point. So let's go ahead, fill this in, fill that in. And then we do... That doesn't need to be there. Then we do this. Not that one, this one. Not that one, this one. Yeah, we'll just do that. And then we'll do dirt there, and then we'll do dirt here. Is that the same level? It is. And then on the outer edges, we can then blast this down right here, and then blast down on this side, and then we can put our irrigation barriers on the outer edges of that. And on top of this, I could cover this in dirt, or we could... I think dirt's the answer. I don't like it, but it is the answer. Because this pocket is just going to be poo, water. That's fine. I will allow it. It'll just be... It'll be... how would... What would we call that? The poo... The bane of pooing? Is that... If anybody catches that reference, let me know. Anyway, moving on. Cool, we got that in. That's going. You're out of juice. You're carrying dirt. You're unemployed. I don't know how you're unemployed, but you're carrying dirt. I'm assuming that you're a hauler that has run out of juice because, well, I'm making you haul stuff halfway across the world. Sweet. I want to give this a priority. I would like that done sooner rather than later, and that should fill that in. How are we doing dirt wise? We're at 1k. That's not exactly where I want to be at, so let's go ahead and rectify that real quick. Where though is the question? Why are you guys filling... Oh, because we're almost full on logs in the entire... Okay, well, that's fine. So I've realized that this is completely a moot point. Like, this entire dam down here, worthless. It's worthless to us. You wanna know why? Because the water doesn't even fill this in now. Because of this massive reservoir back here, this just doesn't even get filled up. The entire helix fills up, and it doesn't even fill this side in. That's, at least with the min-tempered cycle. Sure, if we get a max tempered cycle, maybe we'll get some water that'll spill over on this side. Maybe. But it's pointless. We've captured all of the water that the map can generate, except for this. And this is only, what, three water sources down here? Yeah. That's barely anything. There's no water there. It's a drop in the bucket compared to our ocean. Our ocean of water. And actually, nah, that'd be too much of a pain in the butt to deal with right now. So, let's see here. Next, I wanted to do dirt. So maybe what we can do is get dirt over here as well. Maybe that's what we do. I kind of don't want to dig into this too much because I have a desire to do something else with that. Maybe we can do dirt on this side. That's not a bad idea. So let's do that. So that would be something like that. We'll do 6. And then we'll go into this one. We'll go dirt excavator. It's 5, not 3. I don't know why I was thinking 5 or 3. So that goes there. This goes here. I cut the path off to all of this, so none of that's happening. Then I also need to grab this button, grab that button. Something's in the way. Probably all of that. So let's go on to the other side. Clear that all out and do it from the other side. Game, I swear. Okay, we're just going to pause. Okay, that goes there. This goes here. Bada bing, bada boom. That goes here. And then I don't know if this can go in. Well, that's not even going to help anything. All right, we're gonna have to go out and down. Anyway, so that's fine. Okay, that goes like such as this goes corner, rotate. Let's build it from the other way so that nobody gets stuck. So that goes there. This goes here. This goes here, and then we'll let them do that. We will give this a priority. And then we'll put in some storage over here that can be used as a place for things to go. That goes like that. That goes like that. This goes right here. Realizing that, again, I have foobarred it. Sweet. There we go. Then we do storage. Mediums or large industrial pile. Place it on the right spot. Your dirt, your supply, your dirt, your supply. Yes, you are going to be iron bots. You are also going to be iron bots. And then you've got a place to power right there. You've got plenty of... Let's actually give this a max priority so that this doesn't become an issue. Sweet. And we'll give this a medium priority so that we can trump all of this priority up here that has been laid. I somehow have beavers underneath the entire build. Good job, guys. So... I don't know even how you guys did that. And I'm more surprised that you're able to accomplish that. Like, that is absolutely astounding that you guys were able to accomplish that somehow. I just hope I have the room to get them out. Alright, there. Let's get them out of there. Ridiculous. How did they even get down there? I'm so confused. There's no reason for them to be building down there in the first place. Vlog. Whatever. Fine. That's fine. We'll let them get rescued. Alright, that's all in. Great. That means that we can toss in this little corner piece right here, and that will connect everything up. Then we can give this a max priority. Yes, I know building lacks power. Duh. I just built it. Okay, have they got any of this in? No. Can they not reach it? Probably not. Let's give this a max priority. Let's get them rescued, guys. We gotta go rescue our friends. This is going in nicely. That's taking its time. Building still lacks power. Building lacks workers because I have... Go ahead and swap that over to regular beavers, and we'll do the same with this guy. And that should fill that in. And that's going to cause... We're going to have another problem here soon. Now, having done this, that just means that building will be a little slow during the night because we only have so many bot builders working, which is not exactly what we want to see, because I like using the bots for building because they can work through the night. But I also don't like to put the bio beavers into these things because, like you guys seen in the past, they like to, you know, get hurt a lot. Can we rescue these guys, please? That would be great. All right. Little platforms in. I'm cracking up. 149, 100. You guys are old enough and smart enough to know not to do those things, guys. There's zero reason for you to be stuck down there. Yet here we are having to divert assets to come rescue your butts. There. Get out. Go home. There you go. Good job. Don't be doing that again, alright? Jeez Louise. It's okay. We rescued him. That's all that matters. That is all that matters. Cool. Alright, let's see here. I went the wrong way. I'm still in the wrong way. Alright, cool. We're on this side. I think I can tear this out. They should have gotten all the lumber out of there without any issue. So that's good. How are we doing dirt-wise? 1.1k metal blocks are back in the positive again. Planks and logs are doing fine. Sweet. Let's blast this out, because this is going to be in the way. Give them stairs up to do it, maybe? Get that done, and then we need to start working our way. So let's see here. I need this blasted down by 1, be on the same level. Right? Right. And then we now start doing this. So here we're going to pause, and I'm going to spend the next couple of minutes trying to figure this out, filling in dirt, and yeah. So enjoy this speed up montage, because the game doesn't like when I do this. By that I mean it really doesn't like when I do this. So enjoy my the dulcet tones of future me during editing phase of this video, and we'll catch you on the flip side. All right? All right. And we're back doing make builds on the channel again. Hopefully this time I can remember what I had planned next and stick with the effort to finish this project. We'll see if that actually happened. Thankfully this project did go a little bit more smoothly than my last attempts at these mega builds. The only major hiccup was lumber at the end, but that's pretty much par for the course. I'm also pretty sure that this entire project was the first time I did not get a single beaver stuck in a precarious situation, so I'd absolutely call that a win. I'm very happy about that. All beavers made it out of this build intact. Maybe we lost a few to old age, but that is normal. Okay, you can't blame me for that one, alright? Anyway, I'm happy with how well this building turned out. All in all, it only took about 4 hours to complete, so this video contains footage about that condensed down to just the hours of change that we have now. So shout out to Editor Beaver for getting up 5 a.m. this morning to write this script, finish editing this wonderful masterpiece. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself to make myself feel better about all of this. But I digress yet again. As I mentioned before, this build is probably the first time I've had a build go up with so few issues. Normally I'm fighting a district crossing or some sort of logistics nightmare while this is all going up, and having the two-way stations established alleviated most of those issues for us. I have to say that was great. That being said, you'll see a bunch of cuts where my constant desire to micromanage wins out over a cinematic time-lapse shot, so I do apologize for that. So hopefully you enjoy what happens during the next montage. But before that montage, here's past me talking about past me things, and then you get to see the wonderful cut of the mega build. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the video. Thanks so much for being here. All right. Well, I've made a mess. Yep, I have definitely made a mess, but it's my mess. And that's just going to cause my computer to hate me all the more. So, just to go through how this is supposed to look. Obviously, I want this to get accomplished sooner rather than later, because this would be very helpful in getting them to do all of the things that I want them to do, which means getting on top of here and building down, I think maybe might be the best bet. I don't know. I have no idea how this is all going to pan out. Honestly, I've made quite a massive mess for them to work with for the next 6 to 9 hours. That's probably how long this entire build is going to take. And I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like I need to tear this wall out for now. Let them build this platform first, which means getting them in here and building this platform so that they can start working their way through this dirt line right here, right? That means that they can work this way. I should probably even go ahead and rip out this guy right here, because that's not going to be helpful for now. We can put all of that in later. For now, I want them to be able to put in all of this dirt and put in all of this dirt without any issue. And then we can start working our way up here to build up all of this. Now, that should be relatively simple. Once we get up here, then they should have plenty. It's the problem is touch points, right? The problem is touch points. Since I've built this against the edge, it's going to be one beaver at a time, which is a bit of poor planning on my behalf. I probably should have not done this like that and let them, or had this move one forward, which would have allowed me to put more of these platforms behind here so that they can work from the platforms forward or from this side back. But this should work. Like I said, it'll probably take a little bit of time. I did run into a max build limit with dirt. I did not know that there was a difference between max build limit for dirt and max build limit for other things. So dirt goes up to this height, and then you can build levees on top of that. So that was interesting for me to learn. Hopefully this shouldn't cause a problem for us. I did realize that with this max build limit and with the height of 5 and the additional gap that I have to give for these wheels to not cause a problem, like it is quite literally on the line, right? So you have to go one more higher, which means you lose probably an entire water wheel worth of, maybe not an entire water wheel, maybe I'd give it a water wheel, I don't know. So going from this height, running it down this way, so that's what I was doing there for a second. It's like water's going this way, then it's dropping, going this way, then it's dropping, going this way, then it's dropping, then it's going this way, and then going out. So I want the water to go out here. And while I was doing this, I was trying to think of what do we do to, because this is just going to be a giant wall, right? What does one do with the giant wall? And I was like, well, we've got a giant mountain back there. We could have another giant mountain right here, right? So when push comes to shove, we can cover this entirely in dirt. Well, at least up to the max build limit, and then put some irrigation barriers within it, like or have a negative gap, or a gap, negative gap, redundant. Have a gap here to prevent the spread of bad water, and then we can just have like a giant mountain and cover it in trees and various other things, and just let the iron bots do iron bot things, right? So that's what I'm thinking there. I also want to give these guys a priority to get to this, because I do want to blast that out so I can put this last line in. And I'm curious as to how this is coming along. It's coming along nicely. They can only do one at a time on that as well. So again, touch points are a limb fact. So one beaver comes in and drops off the metal block. One beaver comes in, drops off the plank, probably 2 planks, and the third one comes in and drops or smacks on it for a few seconds and finishes building it. And that'll continue on along here until they get to this point, at which point I do not necessarily know if they can do that. I don't know if they can, maybe because there's nowhere for them to, yeah. I do not know. Maybe we cheat, you know, that's an option. Since they're able to go in and there's technically not an endpoint for them to go to, we could just have them come up here and build a bunch of the tubeways. And then... if build a bunch of the tubeways on this right here... would that work? Here, let's just do this. Bring that up to that height, then we do a single right here. No, that's a double. I feel like this is cheesing it, but you know what? You ain't cheesing, you ain't trying. Is that how this works? I'm gonna go with that. If you ain't cheesing, you ain't trying. So that was those two right there. That's technically not necessary, as well as this right here. If we're going to be doing something like that, and then we just do this. Bring this all the way up to the top. Then we toss in our triples like that. And we toss in our tubeway right here. And then they build all of that. That's going to take a hot minute. Again, touch points and so on. But they'll probably get that finished before all of this gets in. So that'll be interesting to see. And yeah, now I need to pay attention to how we're doing with all of our materials. We're doing okay on dirt. So that's another thing that I wanted to talk on. So dirt. We found out that we cannot build through dirt, right? We found that out over here when we were trying, and we found that one power shaft right there that was not connected, right? And it was too far from district, and that was just because it was covered in dirt. So we had to blast down in order to get to that one point. Sure, they can build infinitely down, but they cannot build infinitely down through dirt. Lesson observed. That being the case, I've got this entire build up here, and I was putting in dirt. I was like, I don't want to have to do this every level, giving them access to this line right here or something like that. So by building with the levees as opposed to dirt up here, that means that I can get them onto this ledge and have them just walk along this top side, and they can build down as far as they need to go. And of course, that's all dependent on them getting all of this dirt put in. I do need to give this a priority so that they can actually finish this real quick. I want a little bit more dirt readily available for them to go back and forth to and from, and I should probably give that a little bit of a connection there so that our bots can go and charge a little bit easier. Maybe. I doubt it's going to actually help anything. Who knows? But it'll be something for them to work with, and then we can also toss in another couple of dirt piles here. And that will make things a little bit better. Now, this, of course, is going to be a huge draw on my computer for the next 6 to 9 hours. Or, I don't know how long this is actually going to take. But, yeah, I think what we're going to do here is I am going to put this in this mode right here. And we're going to let you guys watch what we can of the build thus far. And we'll see you in a little bit. Hello again, YouTube. It is me, future me, doing the future me editing job of trying to put together something that actually makes sense for this portion of this video. I hope that you have enjoyed the video thus far, and I hope that you are enjoying the chaos as we continue to move on. That all being said, who doesn't enjoy another fantastic time lapse that's going to last for the next couple minutes? Thankfully, this build did not take nearly as long as our last mega build did. That means that this time lapse hopefully is a little less painful than some of my old builds, and I definitely contribute to a large portion of that to proper planning and preparation that I didn't completely foobar by jumping the gun and getting this done faster. And of course, the two-way stations. Shout out to the devs for these fantastic pieces of tech that they've put into the game for us. Having that substantial movement speed increase with two ways rather than being heavily reliant on breaking the map into districts alleviated a substantial amount of headache that I would have endured for the entirety of this build. And of course was dependent on me building the pathing appropriately in the first place, which is still a lesson in aesthetic building versus practical building that I've yet to learn. Sure, the two-way is neither in this instance, as I mentioned, since I should have built along ground before going straight into the top of the chimney, if you will, saving a ton of materials in the process, but that would have required me thinking ahead as opposed to just jumping straight up into the sky. And again, I've never claimed to be a smart builder. If I have, please, there's no need for you guys to be calling me out in the comment section. Okay, you guys can hold off on that until later, all right? And though if you guys do want to leave a comment, the buttons are right down there. You can type that up pretty quickly. Thankfully, it still worked as advertised, though, and the Beavers were able to take full advantage of the stations that were built in order to quickly move material from all over the map and place it in the appropriate storage depots and get the build moving without much issue. So I'll take that as a major win. Historically speaking, I've been, as mentioned, dealing with all of the district crossings and getting all the material from one side or the other has always been a major sticking point. The logistics nightmare that was Build 6 being a thing in the past is definitely something that I do enjoy. I would like to see something in the future that fixes some of the problems with the optimization where the game stutters and slows down depending on how much is going on. But I think with the game still being in a beta, this kind of makes sense. Now, for the build itself, as I mentioned, the transition from dirt to levees, past me mentioned, not current me who's doing the future me things, but I digress, was not in my original plan. Originally, I had wanted a large portion of the build to be made from dirt, since dirt production is a little easier to handle than waiting on oak and pine to reach maturity and be chopped down by the lumberjack beavers. Of course, that would require providing access to the individual build levels, and I didn't necessarily want to try to figure that out. So switching to the levees saved a lot of time and effort. And I'm kind of grateful that I had, knowing the rate at which I'm burning through dirt and past me, future episode me's episodes. But I digress. Again. Additionally, I'm happy that I remembered the trick with the suspension bridges. That absolutely expedited the build process substantially. It mentioned that building behind the structure would have been a much faster build process. More touch points means more beavers can gain access, can start working on different levels of the build. And yes, this is true, but being able to put the suspension bridges and allowing them to work from those bridges to the lower levels helped out a lot. And you'll see that I was able to finagle my way into different build spots a little bit more quickly by letting them build out the suspension bridges to the point where all of the support structure was in for the bridges, which then allowed for the beavers to come back in and backfill as necessary, which helped move things along a bit more quickly, allowing all of the touch points to be accessed before we actually got into the system itself and started placing all of the power wheels or water wheels. And additionally, on top of that, remembering the fact that the control towers existed helped things speed along as well. My regret there is still not having finished putting together the bot grease and establish a solid supply for that is definitely something I need to work on for future builds. And definitely need to remember to get that up and running before tackling my next mega project, be the mega mountain or the birthday cake, whichever project comes along first. Now, on top of all that, logistics is still a problem, and I accept full responsibility for that. I definitely should have expanded the tree farms. Industry was still there. Industry was established well enough to facilitate all of the production lines that were needed, but having industry with no base material means nothing. If you can't start from the beginning and get all the materials needed in order to facilitate anything, that you have beavers sitting around doing nothing with their hands. Now, I had intended to wait to start the build before actually jumping into all that, which would have meant that I had copious amounts of material on hand. However, I did get a little bit ahead of myself waiting for that, as you guys saw at the beginning of the episode, which led to the current situation that we found ourselves in towards the end of the build, I should say. However, nothing can be done about that now. What's done is done, and I can't say that I'm too upset by how it all turned out. We'll just have to hopefully learn from these lessons and build from this build rather than just observing them. Lessons learned versus lessons observed is always a sticking point for me. So it means nothing to anybody if you've observed the same lesson 14 to 69 different times. If you haven't learned anything from it, then it's a wasted effort, a wasted time. And that's something that I have been working on in this game and, well, in life in general. But I digress for, I believe, the 5th time at this point. So hopefully in the future, our next build won't be so bad. But I hope that you guys have been enjoying this episode thus far. I hope that you're enjoying the series as well, and I hope that you continue to stick around and enjoy all the chaos with us. And I'm going to let you guys enjoy Past Me continue to talk about Past Me's endeavors while he's trying to figure out what to do with his hands while staring down a computer that's been running and chugging for at least 3 to 4 hours at this point, with no rest for the wicked. And, well, I digress. Enjoy your time wherever you are, and I hope that future me during the edit makes this sound a little bit more cleaner, and you guys can enjoy a little bit more of this without the little all the chaos that's running around in my head. But I'm out. Enjoy yourselves, keep rocking the fur world, and we'll catch you all next time. See ya! Alright, well, apparently I have not been voicing any of this over. So, hello again from future me, or from past me, from future me, because apparently I don't know how to turn on my microphone to record things. So what I was talking about was getting all this power up in here, getting power down in here, getting all of this covered appropriately, and trying to fix this problem over here. Apparently, none of that made it into the recording, so future me can make fun of me for being a goober and try to cover down what I was talking about. It's nothing cosmic, it's just me complaining about things that I wish that the game had to offer, but alas, it does not. But that's fine. It might make its way into a future system. If not, it's totally still fine. The game still runs perfectly fine, and there are ways to get around doing solving problems, which is this problem that I had here to deal with. It's just basically upward and downward power shafts. I would like to see something nicer there, but it's brilliant that this is like they are now. I just want more inputs. I want to be able to drag stuff in, but I digress. Too far from... What do you mean it's too far? Oh, the power lines are in the way. Duh. Thank you for snapping to the other side. Go ahead and rip that out. Grab that, and then we will grab this, that, and we'll go all the way across like that. And now we have a way up there. And they can put all that dirt in for us. Sweet. Explosions for all my friends. Did I go past it? I feel like I went past it. I did go past it. Oops. That's fine. I want you out. And I want you to be a four-way. Why is it saying there's a connection blocked? Too far from district path cannot be reached. Are you kidding me? Nope. Alright. So we get to blast this down too. Should have known. Should have known. But while they are working on that, we can come in here and fix... Well, this one they can't reach either. Ay. We're going to have to blast down from all of the angles. So, nope, not that one. This one, please. This whole not being able to build... under dirt has turned into quite the hassle for us. Can you guys reach all of this? You can. Sweet. I love it. Now, this stuff actually... I want to rip this out, rip this out, rip this out. Yes, and now we want to put dirt in... Let's see here. On this side, they are going into here actively for reasons. But that's all right. We'll let them continue to... Well, they should be able to... What are they going in there for? I guess they can clean up all of this lumber mess that I've just created for them, which is good because we're out of lumber again. So we'll let them work on that, and then I don't want that there. I want this to be back one more. Now we put dirt right here. Dirt all along here like so. We should be able to take this path out here and put our dirt in like this. And that should do it. We'll have to put dirt on top, like I said, but that is a simple problem with a very simple solution, so I'm not overly concerned with that. I don't know why I did that. All right, let's get this working again. Take 3 to getting down to this this power wheel. Okay, hold up. Does that mean, okay, so if that's there, right? If that's in that position, they should be able to work this, right? Theoretically. So let's grab this. We'll just toss in a 4-way. Power connection's blocked. Okay, let's toss that in. We'll just not put it in a 4-way. And then we'll put in... I don't know how deep I went, but this is going to be a problem. I went way too deep. Okay, so instead of just filling that in with dirt, we're just going to fill that in with platforms. That shouldn't cause any problems. And then we'll make the connections here. Like so. Grab this corner, put that in right here, put that corner in right there, put this piece in right there, and then that gives us that connection. Probably gonna need to blast that down or not. Probably just climb into there. So I'm gonna put bots into this. I'm thinking I'll build an additional district and just have them. Okay, you guys are stuck. Good job. Okay, you guys are super stuck. Super good job. Let's give that a priority so we can rescue the beavers that are stuck. There are 5 of them in there, so we'll just put bots in here, or we'll wait until the next temperate cycle. Blast this down, run this back. Come on, guys. We also still need to run the rest of this power line, but that shouldn't take too long, theoretically. That's gonna cause a problem. No, it's not gonna cause a problem. As long as we don't block this off, we should be fine. Yeah, I think. So let's go ahead. We'll plan this portion out. We'll get this in. Oh, I want that to go right here, and then I want an upward power shaft, and then you to go right here, and then I'm gonna run this along right here, and then a downward, connect that right there, and then probably just put in that piece right there, put in this piece right here. Now, I don't want to do that there yet. We'll run this way. And we'll make the connection in here somewhere. I still need to get them back here first before we do that. So we will work on that. And that means pathing into here. And somehow getting them up here. That means doing that, putting stairs in right here, and then they should be able to do all of this if I do that. Theoretically. And if we pause that. That means they should be able to get into that without too much consternation. Now, what we want to do is, like I said, wait for the temperate cycle to stop doing temperate cycle things. Those beavers are officially rescued, so that's good to see. We can re-tear that portion out. We can then reconnect this right here. And then put in our dirt right there. And now we wait for the bad tide to finish. But I'm very happy with how this turned out. Sure, it took all of like 3.5 hours to get this done. And I don't know how I'm going to break this episode up. It will be interesting one way or another. Don't know why exactly they haven't been able to get over here to do this. Oh, it's because I blocked their connection there. There, you guys can come finish that. How did they build that? How did they build that? Oh, they went up here and around. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. Yeah. All right, that's in. So let's see here. They've got all that stuff that they're collecting. This is going in. Let's see why they haven't finished that yet. Let's go ahead and give this a priority bump so they can knock that out as soon as possible. And this should be the end of the bad tide. We're still doing okay on logs and planks. Water we're doing just fine as well. This is still irrigated, so everything's good, which is a fantastic, it's a fantastic thing to see, don't you see? Pull that up so that we don't run into the same problem that I ran into last time. This, I never gave them a way up to actually access any of that, so none of that got accomplished. But that's fine, that's just dirt and some metal blocks, which we're doing okay on with all of that. So let's see here. That's all dirt in there, isn't it? That's why they're not picking all that up. Yeah. All right, that should be clean water now. And that means that we can work our way down here some more. Oh, hold up. Hold the phone. Did I do the same thing here? Am I saving myself a lot of work by having that? Yes. Maybe? I don't know. Can you guys reach this? Too far from district cannot be reached. Okay, so you guys were able to blast that down, but you can't. Come on, guys. Come on, guys. All right, fine. Let's see. All right, that's secondary problem. Get over here. Blast this out. That's just gonna fill into there. That's not gonna cause any issues for anybody. Now we'll get into here and run down here like this. And we should... this is where that path or that power line is right there. So we can build underneath this without causing any problems with pathing. Just drag this here and then drag that there, and then the beavers should not get stuck because they could build on top of here and then go in through here, and then that could go all in right there like such as. And now we need to go ahead and toss in the rest of our 1x5s on top of all this. Like that. And then we need to probably blast this line down by 1. Or not. Can we do this? Yeah, I think this is the answer. Yeah, let's go with this. And we'll put dirt in front of that. Like there. We'll do dirt like that. And then that should be good enough, theoretically. And we can also just path along this side right here. Path here. Grab a staircase. Put that right there. Connect that. Run that across there. Probably put in... Well, they can actually gain access to all that without any issue. We can actually just put this in as well. And then that shouldn't cause any problems for them. How are we doing over here? Okay, this is not good. Wasn't anticipating a bad tide this soon. Okay, that's in. We can unpause that. So we don't need beavers in here anymore. We're gonna pause. I don't want to... Yeah. Hopefully I didn't just trap a beaver in there, but I don't anticipate them being in there. Okay. That's in. That's good. That's all connected theoretically. This is all connected. Okay. Now we need... I don't know what's faster. Is dirt faster or... I think dirt's faster than metal blocks. So we're going to go dirt. Probably the wrong way to go about doing this, so we're going to rip all this out. I really was hoping for a drought, honestly. Really was hoping for a drought. But alas, we did not get a drought. That is kind of stinky. Okay, so I want this to be going this way. Since we can build from the other side a little bit easier. And all the sources, or all the material is on the other side. Well, we get to test out our new system a little faster than I anticipated. Rip out this path, rip out this path, rip out that path. And we're going to put this dirt in right here. I really don't know if dirt's faster than impermeable flooring. It's probably not. Because impermeable flooring is just one metal block. And it goes on top. And it goes in a little bit faster, maybe. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, that's in. That's good. That's in. Nobody should be stuck. I do need to give them a way up here. And I need to fill this in. Okay, and then we need... Alright, how do we get up here fast? Like this. All connected. This can go here. Then we can connect all this. And then I think we're going to have to work 24/7, 24 hours, because we're racing against the clock. We've got 2.5 days to cap this off. Of course, they're stuck. What do you mean you're stuck? Okay, apparently I didn't give you guys way out at all. Okay, priorities. This. All right, 24/7 work period. Dirt. Dirt. That. Just everything over here is priority. That's the only thing that is being built right now, but still it's an absolute priority that we get this done. We've got 2 days to lay down a metric poop ton of dirt. Okay, maybe that is the better way to go about doing this. I don't know. Oh, that's not even put in yet? Oh, no. Oh, no. Why are you guys putting in a piece of dirt right there? Don't do that. Why is that even there? Can you guys build this, please? Build this, please. Oh, no. I don't... We're not going to have it done. Boo. Boo, 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 boo. Well, there's all of our builders back. They were all stuck. So that's, there's that. It's, that was a choice. They're all gonna go get power for a second. We've got Lunar Dust here, putting in all of our pathing for us. Pathing can take a lesser priority. We need to get the dirt done as soon as possible, please, guys. That would be great. The sooner that gets done, the better. Probably put in paths to go along this side. Yeah, this is not going to get done in a timely fashion. I should have waited for a drought instead of trying to race a temperate cycle. That was a choice. What's going to happen? So... what we could do is just give it an out right here. It's probably the quickest solution. I think that's the answer. I don't like it, but it is an answer. So let's do that. I'm going to pause the game real quick. And grab this. I'm going to rip that portion out right there. Grab this. I'm going to toss him some stairs. I'm going to go in there. We're going to run across here. We're going to blast this out with some single dynamite. And that should theoretically give the bad tide an out while we finish the rest of the build. Without getting all of our beavers stuck or anything like that. We're just going to bring all this back down. Do things smartly, okay? Instead of trying to do ridiculous things in a very short window, we're going to do things smartly here. All right? Boom. There we go. Got a day for them to come over and knock that out. They just need to place a few planks, a few logs, and some dynamite. And that should not be a problem for them. They are beavers. They are fantastic beavers, and they do wonderful beaver things. All right? All right. One day. Okay, staircase is in. Give this max priority. Please, thank you. Come on, just bring us some dynamite. Just a little dynamite. That's all I'm asking for here, guys. I'm not asking for a lot. There we go. There we go. All right, so now the bad tide's got a place to go. It's going to go into here, and then it's going to backfill into here, and that's going to go out this way, and that shouldn't cause a problem for anybody. This is really full, though. Hey, yo. You love to see that. Lots of water for all my friends. That was a very short temperate cycle. That explains why things were a little more hectic than anticipated. So I do want to tear these stairs out so we can let them work on things appropriately, and rip that out, and then we'll put our dirt in back on top. Let them work on the path. Let them work on placing dirt to their heart's content. And, yeah, I love to see it. But you guys will have to wait until the next episode of Timberborn Z to see everything working. Because I still have to finish building it. But I hope you guys enjoyed this probably really long episode of Timberborn Z and the dulcet sounds of future me as I... try to talk overall, or try future tense, past tense, yada blah. You get it. Editing me will fix this somehow. I don't know. Good luck to him. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button. If you have not already hit that subscribe button, I would appreciate it as well. We are so close to the 1,000 number. Okay, it's still a little bit of ways. We just hit the funny 690 subscriber limit, so I was pretty excited about that. And you guys are all amazing. For those of you who have, for those of you who haven't, you're amazing too. No matter what anybody tells you, I appreciate you for being here, especially if you've made it this far. Anyway, I'm getting out of here. You guys have a fantastic day wherever you're in the world. Make sure you guys stay nice and thirsty, stay nice and hydrated. Make sure your beaver's nice and hydrated and thirsty. Wait, no, make sure your beaver's hydrated, okay? We'll catch you all later. I'm out. See ya.